Hey everybody, thanks for checking me out. This time I'm looking at Bishoujo Jaina Solo. This one's different than most, quite a bit different anyway. They've put the Artifacts logo on the box, which is not something they do for Bishoujo, and it's, I think, them trying to appeal to a broader market. Star Wars obviously is going to have as much crossover license, so I think this may be a stipulation of their licensing agreement, if I had to guess, that they are going to market this Bishoujo statue as they do the rest of their Star Wars products. So she's a little different. You can see here, it says a 1/7 scale pre-painted model kit. They've never described any of the other ones like that. It wouldn't even really be an accurate description for the other ones, but this one's a little different because she's not really assembled. So you can see there she's in a few different pieces. Her arms aren't attached, or her forearms are not attached, and she's chopped in half. So that's interesting. Also on the back of the package of the description, it's about the same as it usually is, but they don't get weird with it like they have been on some of the other ones, talking about specific body parts and shit like that. This one's makes reference to there's going to be other Star Wars females, and it gives a little bio about Jaina Solo. I actually didn't know much about her when they announced this figure. I didn't know anything about her, honestly. And then I read up on her, and seems like an interesting character. Seems to be pretty popular inside of the extended Star Wars universe, and seems pretty cool. The figure itself is seems pretty nice. I don't know how indicative of the character it is because I'm just not that familiar with her. But they have kind of made this a more subdued version of Bishoujo, so I think this one's probably going to have a lot of crossover appeal. So it does still have the artwork on the back of Shinya Yamashita. You can tell very different packaging than what they typically have of the Bishoujo line. So just as a quick comparison, this is Power Girls, and Power Girls is much more common. Pretty much follows the exact same formula as they all have. Ever since the first one was released, they all look pretty much exactly the same. Window on the top, art on the side, a couple of pictures on the back, bio, same format every time. So this is the first one that they've released, at least that I've ever seen, that is any different. So I'm going to open up the box here and take a look. Okay, so here she is, kind of in pieces. Kind of reminds me of Gashapon, the little capsule toys that you put together, which isn't a bad thing. I really dig those things. So her base does look like it comes open, and it looks like it does so in a way that's a little different than Christie's, which is good, because Christie's base is pretty terrible. Like, it just doesn't stay together. Hopefully that's not the case with her. Doesn't look like they've changed too much. I don't know. It still looks like it's might be prone to the bottom falling off, but hopefully that's not the case. She does come with two different inserts for the base. One Star Wars. See it there? Very faint. I'm not sure how that's going to show up in there. But then she's got this also. Like I say, I'm not very familiar with Jaina Solo or this aspect of the extended universe, but I'm guessing this is for the New Republic Rogue Squadron, which I guess she's part of. So that's pretty cool. That will definitely show up. So put that under there, and that's nice. That's pretty good. I like that. I like the Star Wars logo, I think, maybe a little better, but that might be redundant. I think it's pretty obvious what she's from, but take a look at how that looks as well. Oh yeah, see, Christie's goes together like that, and it's not great. So there's that. Did I get that wrong? So Christie's also the little insert. I did get that wrong. The little plastic inserts that have the print on it, they don't quite fit inside that ring as well. This one seems like it fits better. It's better fit. That's not too bad. It shows up a little more than I thought it would. Alright, so here she is, and wrapped up like they normally are. Kotobukiya seems like they pay a lot of attention and spend a lot of care and time to put into make sure these things ship with as little damage as possible. And I really appreciate that. I wish more collectible companies would do that. So I don't think much instructions required. She does come with a sheet of instructions there, obviously. I can't imagine not being able to figure this one out, but I don't know. Sometimes you have to push things together much harder than you feel comfortable with. I know that was the case with the X23 base, but that wasn't bad. That kind of popped right in. No issue there. Here's a right hand, the Rogue Squadron helmet. Make sure that's in focus there. No. There we go. So that's pretty nice. Nothing crazy about that. It's fairly straightforward. Looks good. Paint's accurate. It's hollow inside. It doesn't look like her head would fit in that, but no problems there. Looks pretty good. So get that. Sorry. Get that on there. Alright. Easy, easy. It's her flight jacket, vest, whatever you want to call it. So, one of the things that, the illustration that Shinya did shows her originally levitating a lightsaber with the Force. And obviously, it's not like they're going to be able to do that. I mean, you could go with something like magnets or something crazy, but that would probably jack up the price significantly. I don't think it would be worth it. So what they ended up doing, they showed the prototype initially. Sorry, I'm having problems with my mount here. When they first showed the prototype, she wasn't really doing anything with the lightsaber. It was just sitting on her hand. So there's her hand. And the lightsaber just kind of sat in her hand like that. And obviously it can do that. But now they've kind of made it so that you can tab this lightsaber into her pinky. And you can see just the smallest little hole there at the end of the lightsaber. And the smallest little tab there at the end of her pinky. And that goes right in there. And it does a pretty good job of creating a levitation effect. That's probably as best they can do. I mean, I think this is pretty much beyond criticism. I don't know how else they could have done that any better and still made it affordable without any kind of crazy gimmicks. So, good job on that one. So far, everything I've seen from this figure from the beginning is pretty much a win. I knew when I seen it that I wanted to pick it up, and so far is not disappointed. Trying to figure out how exactly this goes on there. There we go. Oh, sorry. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. Kind of just find the path of least resistance. And there's that. And also interesting is the first Bishoujo that is standing on top of a base that doesn't have pegs coming out of her feet. The pegs come out of the base. That's great. That's the way it should be. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that up with the other figures. I hope they do, because those bases, the display bases, although they're nice, not always necessary and sometimes get in the way. So, if you are the brave sort, you could stand her up without the base. And that's what I want to be able to do with all of them. Mystique, for instance, is one that doesn't really need her base. It's just big and round and kind of unnecessary. And when it's not anything, like this is at least something. You have a little Star Wars thing in there. You can put the squadron emblem in there. Well, there you go. That's why you'd have to be brave, because these things are going to fall over. But the ones that are just clear, the base that doesn't really offer anything, I don't need that. I'd rather her just stand. So let's get her in the base so that we don't have any more mishaps. Space, beep, beep, beep. There we go. So right foot in, left foot in. Good. That lightsaber back in there. It's such a small tab that I don't think that it would really break, but man, it's tenuous at best, so I don't think I'll be touching that again with the lightsaber. Now that's in there, it's in there. I don't need to mess with that. So there she is. And this is a really cool figure, I gotta say. It's more subdued than typical Bishoujo stuff, which is just fine. I don't know if that's if that's a very conscious choice on their part. She's completely covered up. No part of her physique is exaggerated, and it looks good. The paint job on this flight suit is really good. I'm kind of surprised at how good it looks. It looks like cloth. It looks like a flight suit, especially this. I'm sure there's a name for this. That strap goes around their legs. Looks really good. It's very impressive. I like that. The paint job's done very well. Pretty much everywhere. Paint's all accurate. No flaws anywhere. Typically I'll get one flaw somewhere on the figure. It's just a little paint blotch or something like that, but from what I can see, everything looks great. A couple little things, and I don't know if this is going to be able to be resolved, but it looks like some of the parts around the waist don't completely sink in. I don't think this really matters much, but you can see a little bit of a gap right here. It's more than just a fold in the fabric. There's a gap you can see into right there. That shouldn't be there. And the way that this is molded wider on her shirt, it means it's not going to really sink in there right. So it seems like there's just a little bit of a gap in the mold there. I don't know. That the way it looks doesn't seem like that would be unique to mine. I think that might be how they're made. I don't think you'd get that. No, you wouldn't get that on a typical Bishoujo statue. So, pardon the background noise if you can hear it. I have a cat that's insane. You have a little bit on the front too. There's a little bit of a gap there. Nothing. That's fine in the front, really. Yeah, that one you could kind of pass off as just I don't know, folds in the fabric in between her shirt and jumpsuit, flight suit. So this one's really cool. I'm really happy with what they did with the lightsaber. I was concerned about how exactly that was going to come out. Let me get some contrast here. It looks good. The paint job on the lightsaber is very metallic. It looks like a lightsaber. There's no question what that is. And it looks like she's levitating it. I mean, between the little vest there and the straps going through her palm and the way the fingers are being held, creates a good effect. It looks, if you look at it, it looks like it's kind of levitating there. So, well done to Koto for doing that. So all in all, it looks like a great figure. I'm really digging this one overall. I think this is one of the best that they've made. I know that there's going to be a lot of Star Wars fans that are familiar with the character. They'll probably go pick this up that don't know anything else about Bishoujo. Maybe watching this now, the Bishoujo line of figures that Kotobukiya does. But they do a whole bunch, and on that note, I've got a couple for size comparison. So here's Christy from Tekken, again with the translucent base. You know, that one's, I like that one. It's got his illustration on there. They didn't do that here, but I think that's just fine. That and the Star Wars logo are great. So there's those two. Sorry, let me get all this crap out of here. So here's a look at the instruction sheet, if you are curious. Pretty straightforward stuff, nothing crazy there. And then Power Girl. So Huntress is supposed to be next. I'm anticipating getting her soon, hopefully. I've heard people have gotten her already. I've seen pictures of people post with her in their collection on their shelves and all of that. I'm in the dark on that. If anybody knows how to get these figures any sooner than just general release or pre-order release like on Koto's website or Big Bad Toy Store or the comic shop, hit me up and let me know, because I would love to know and get figures early. So she's 1/7 scale. All three figures here are 1/7 scale. No, you can kind of see, I don't know, I'm not sure how obvious it is here. If we line these up just right. There's not much difference in how big they are, but Christy seems a little smaller. Again, like I always say, with scale you have an opportunity to have the characters be bigger or smaller than each other and still be in scale, so it's a little more realistic. And when you go across 3 different licenses, is kind of all that kind of goes out the window anyway. Looking forward to Huntress. There's a few other ones coming out. There'll be FemShep from Mass Effect coming out. I'm getting the variant on that one, so I'll be doing reviews for all the stuff that's coming out after this. So for every Bishoujo release, as long as I can afford to do it, I'm going to be buying them and doing reviews for all of them. So hit me up, subscribe, like, comment, leave comments. I like comments. I'll comment back usually. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.